All right, let's dig into a topic you probably think you know, but trust me, there's a whole industry hiding just under the surface. And no, I'm not talking about your backyard compost bin. We're about to explore the 10 distinct businesses of Vermitechnology. Let's get right into it. You know, when I say worm farming, your mind probably jumps to a little compost bin in the backyard, right? A simple, earthy garden project. And look, you're not wrong, but that's just one tiny, tiny piece of a massive industrial puzzle. Because here's the reality. Vermitechnology isn't just a hobby, it's a sprawling, multi-sector industry. We're talking about a really complex ecosystem of businesses, all built around the incredible and often underestimated power of the earthwork. So, how do we even begin to wrap our heads around all this? Well, the way we're going to break it down is with this fantastic visual, the Wheel of Opportunity. Think of it as a roadmap that lays out 10 distinct but interconnected business sectors, all powered by, you guessed it, worms. Okay, let's start right at the heart of that wheel. We're talking about the two foundational businesses that everyone already associates with worms. This is the core engine that literally drives everything else we're about to talk about. So right off the bat, it's super important to get these two businesses straight. First up, you have vermiculture. The easiest way to think about this is like the HR department. It's the science of breeding and raising your worm workforce. And then you've got vermicomposting. Now this is the factory floor. This is where that workforce gets busy creating an incredibly high-value product, that black gold we all know as vermicompost. All right, so we've got our workforce and we've got our core product. Now things start to get really interesting. Let's see where the wheel takes us next, which is into some truly powerful, large-scale environmental solutions.
This is the part where worms basically become what I like to call eco-engineers. We're talking about three totally distinct services here. First, vermiponics, which uses the liquid nutrients from the worms to power sustainable ag tech systems. Then there's vermi-remediation, and this one's just fascinating. It's where you use worms to literally decontaminate polluted soil and heal the land. And finally, vermifiltration, using entire worm ecosystems as natural living filters to purify water. And these aren't small-time gigs, these are major environmental services.
Now, for any of this to work at an industrial scale, you can't just have worms and compost, right? You need a whole support system. Just like any other major industry out there, Vermitechnology has its own infrastructure, its own supply chain, and its own specialized equipment. And of course, that growth has created its own supply chain. Get this, entire businesses have popped up like Vermequipment that do nothing but engineer the highly specialized machinery needed for these huge operations. And then there's Vermifreight. A whole logistics network designed just for moving live worms and their products safely all over the world. This is the industrial backbone holding the whole thing together. But wait, the wheel doesn't stop there. Not even close. We're now heading to the absolute frontier of this research, a field called vermiprotection. Scientists are actually exploring how unique compounds from earthworms could be used in human health. We're talking everything from new medicines to new therapies. This is seriously cutting-edge stuff. So there you have it. We've just done a full lap around the Wheel of Opportunity. We've seen the core stuff like breeding and composting, and we've gone all the way to massive environmental projects, advanced logistics, and even potential breakthroughs in medicine. So the big question is, where do you fit in? And this is the most important takeaway. Each one of those segments on the wheel, it isn't just a part of the industry. Each one is a potential business vertical all on its own, just waiting for entrepreneurs to jump in and build something. Across this whole ecosystem, we've just laid out at least 10 distinct opportunities to create real value. You know, it's hard to find a better way to say it than this. When you really step back and look at the entire ecosystem we've just mapped out, you see it, right? The potential for both generating revenue and making a genuine positive impact on the planet, it really is boundless. So, okay, we have our map. We see the different business sectors. But let's be honest, everything we've just discussed, all of this amazing potential, it all relies completely on the workforce. You know, the ones who are actually doing all of that heavy lifting. And that brings us to maybe the most critical question of all. To succeed in any of these 10 verticals, you absolutely have to recruit the right team. Because believe it or not all worms are created equal. So, the question is, do you know which species is the undisputed industry gold standard? Choosing the right worker changes everything, and that's a story for our next explainer.